Hey everybody, welcome once again to another edition of JazzWatch, your friendly neighborhood jazz crusader here over the microphone, the Watchman, Greg Bryant. So glad to be back in the saddle, right in your ear, JazzWatch. You can find us, of course, on iTunes. Download us, all of our episodes for free. Tell your friends about us. Hey, you know what? It helps when you leave a review. It kind of boosts us up and makes us more visible. Make sure to do that when you go to iTunes and download each episode. Leave me a review. Let me know what you dig about the show, what you don't dig, any criticism you have. If you love it, make sure to tell folks about it. You can spread the word via Twitter. We're on there as well. Search us out. You can also go to Facebook to see kind of what we've got in the pipeline. We put some updates there. That URL is facebook.com/JazzWatch. You can find us there. And our mother site, of course, jazzwatch.wordpress.com. A synopsis of all the episodes there. You can kind of pick and choose what you want to check out. It's all there. It's all right here on JazzWatch. Man, so excited about this episode. We're going to talk to a cat I've admired for a long time, trumpeter and composer Duane Eubanks. Man, he's got a brand new one coming out in January, and man, we're going to kind of break it to you with the exclusive right here. New project out coming up called Things of That Particular Nature. Man, it's like a collection of family, fun, and fellowship through music, man. If I had to say it, that's how I would say it. We're going to talk to Duane about his matriculation and through the scene and kind of this new recording, the impetus behind it, and the ethos of his very special brand of this music. Trumpeter Duane Eubanks, our conversation with him in just a second. Just kind of getting some things together for some future episodes. One that, man, I almost don't want to tell you about it. It's so special, and it commemorates a landmark recording, something that we're putting together. Just stay tuned because we're going to put something together for you that's going to be real special for subsequent episodes. So you got to make sure that you're checking out what we're putting down here on JazzWatch. Make sure that you tell your friends and that you make sure that you stay abreast of what we're doing. Trying to get out every week, every other week, new content, new fresh stuff. But we love doing the interviews. Several of you saying, hey, we want to hear more music as well. So we're working on something really special to commemorate a very special landmark recording. So stay tuned for future subsequent episodes of this podcast. We got something in the works really special for you. Man, just kind of trying to come down from a lot of these world events, man. Ferguson and Staten Island and Cleveland, Ohio, man, there's just, oh my goodness, man. It's just, if you ever needed to be acquainted with this music or the blues, now is a great time because, man, something's got to take away the pain, something constructive, something different than going and, causing a ruckus in the streets and beating folks up. Not saying that I'm against the protesting because, hey, man, our voices need to be heard when there's stuff like this going down. But, man, it has been a dark winter already, man. I'm just, oh, man, it's been rough to really think about and deal with. And just, I don't know how you're doing, but I am really trying to go deeper into the music. In addition to, just kind of reflecting about, where I think things are, talking about it. But you guys have really been helpful doing these podcasts. Have really been helpful for me to kind of focus on some things because, man, if you put on CNN and keep it there, trying to stay abreast of what's going on, you can definitely run into some deep depths. But I tell you, I got out today. I went over to the record store and, man, I found a gem. I don't know if you have it, but I'm a huge Cannonball Adderley fan. And I found a brand new reissue that I haven't really heard publicized much about. It's Cannonball Adderley's classic 1972 release, The Black Messiah. And those of you that follow hip-hop, of course, it's been sampled by the likes of A Tribe Called Quest and several other legendary hip hop groups. But man, as jazz, as a document of the early 70s, man, this album is far reaching, wide ranging. It's avant, it's groove, it's swing, it's odd meter, it's common time, it's balladry, it's Brazilian, it's bluesy, it's rockish, man. It goes every which way. And man, the late great George Duke is featured to capacity on this recording. Man, I've heard sounds on the Fender Rhodes, on the Black Messiah, that I've never heard anybody else get. You know, Herbie and Zawinul and the like, man. George Duke on display on this recording, wide open, man. Cannonball on alto and soprano. Roy McCurdy, that's somebody I'd like to interview. Drummer Roy McCurdy, man, he saw it all, being with Cannonball all those years and all those transitions, man. That was a band. Nat Adderley, of course, on cornet, and on this particular LP or CD, whatever you have it on, they add Ayrton Moreira. Very interesting to hear his auxiliary percussion throughout this recording. And Ernie Watts makes some appearances as well. Mike Deasy, the guitarist. Man, this is some hip stuff, man. The Black Messiah. If you don't have it, if you haven't heard it, if you like your Cannonball on the adventurous side, you're going to dig this. Make sure you check that out. Cannonball Adderley's The Black Messiah. Just been reissued by the folks at Dusty Groove America in partnership with Blue Note and EMI and all that. But anyway, look it up, get it if you don't have it. It's some mind-altering stuff, I tell you that. As we said, though, we're going to go right now to a conversation we had just a couple of weeks ago with a brilliant young man of the trumpet, Duane Eubanks. Brand new recording coming out on Sunnyside Records in January. You're going to hear it first here. Man, this is a great one. Make sure that you check this out. We talked to Duane about several things, and he's got a really, really special insight. He shared his fondness for the late, great pianist Mulgrew Miller. Of course, Duane was in Mulgrew's band for years, and man, it really hit him when Mulgrew left the planet, not even a year ago. But man, Mulgrew is cherished and remembered. We're actually going to hear, before we get to the interview, Duane's take on Holding Hands, a Mulgrew Miller original. And this one features, of course, Duane out front on trumpet, Abraham Burton as the saxophonist, Mark Carey on piano, Desron Douglas on the bass, Eric McPherson at the drums, and special guest on vibes, Steve Nelson. And man, you'll hear Duane talk about it, but Steve was really, really down for the cause. Had some minor surgery, but still made the session and killed. You're going to hear some of it here. Before we hear from Duane, our conversation with him, let's check out a tune from the forthcoming CD on Sunnyside, Things of That Particular Nature. Bandleader, composer, trumpeter, Duane Eubanks. Here's his take on the Mulgrew Miller tune, Holding Hands, right here on JazzWatch. It's yours truly, The Watchman. and Philadelphia is a rich town. But man, what kind of started you to have the impetus to want to be involved in this type of musical expression, improvisation and so forth?
Well, in terms of improvisational music, it's just kind of being around it,
Mm-hmm.
Watching my brothers do what they did was very inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
My uncles, Ray Bryant and Tommy Bryant, they used to come over to visit my mom, which would turn into, music lessons,
wow.
verbal lessons,
Wow.
And, I was young. I didn't know exactly how important or how blessed I was to have that sitting right there, musical history
Mm-hmm.
inches away from me, but I had no idea, to what extent
Mm-hmm.
my uncles have impressed so many in their music.
Yeah.
In terms of playing music, period, it was definitely something that my mom or my parents I have a twin brother,
Mm-hmm.
Shane, who he played trombone. He plays trombone. He's in Philadelphia. But Robin and Kevin they moved out, or I think they moved to New York at the time. But they had old instruments. Kevin used to play trumpet.
Hmm.
He played violin. He played trumpet. He actually went to the same music school. They took lessons. Him and Wallace Roney took lessons together, or they had the same teacher.
Wow.
So Wallace had his lesson, and Kevin would come after him. But Kevin hated the trumpet for some reason or another. But so, it said in the Brides to Collect the Dust for a number of years.
Mm-hmm.
Robin had an old trombone,
Mm-hmm.
and here comes me and my twin brother Shane,
Mm-hmm.
and he's about 6 inches taller than me.
Hmm.
At the time. Now it's about 9 inches. But so my mom sits us down like, okay, you guys are gonna play music. We're looking at each other. Okay, not sure what that means, but all right. If you say so, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, we got a trumpet here and a trombone. The trombone is longer, so Shane, you're gonna play this. The trumpet is smaller, so here, you got to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So he handed me the trumpet and said, wow, okay, if you say so.
Mm-hmm.
But, so that's how it began, and we were blessed enough to be in the school system that was strong and emphatic about, the arts.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different time now.
Yeah.
All the funding is being slashed and everything. But at the time, we were blessed to be in the school system was flourishing. School systems in Philadelphia were flourishing with, a lot of young talent.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, they were investing in that. They were making sure that the budgets for the arts were cleared. It's a lot different now,
Mm-hmm.
which is a shame. But so my point is, we were blessed to be in a school system with an incredible music teacher who, I don't know what she did or what she does. She has some kind of gift that brings out the most out of anybody that she touched. Like our band was incredible.
Wow.
And I'm talking about guys that, you walk down the street, you'd be scared to say hello to.
Mm-hmm.
And, really, really like street dudes that you would never, ever think would even know how to hold a saxophone or a bass or whatever they played. And she had this ability to bring out the good and bring it out of us.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think that having that environment, being in that environment was inspiring. That's what made me want to practice, because, you see everybody else growing and getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And but it was kind of a natural thing. I think it's my perception is that I think that each instrument has certain personalities that go along with it. And I just think the trumpet and I just kind of just fit,
Yeah. For sure, man. Yeah, and it's really interesting, man. Philly is just an incredible town. I mean, you think about, as you mentioned, Wallace Roney, as you mentioned, Lee Morgan, when we talked earlier, of course, Johnny Coles and yourself, as well. Is there? Would you say there's a Philly sound of trumpet? Is there a certain school of thought about communication on that instrument?
Yeah, most definitely. I think there's a Philly sound, and I think it was, I guess, coined. I would have to say, I guess, Lee Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he got the exposure, but I think the sound, the Philly sound, there's a feel and a love that Philly musicians have for one another that allows this sound to come across. I think it's more of a feel and a vibe.
Okay.
Than the actual sound. But I think it's kind of more kind of it's not an academic sound. It's not a thing that's developed, that you kind of develop in the school system, that you develop in a practice room in a college. I think it's deeply rooted in the street. And the camaraderie of the musicians. I think that's where the sound comes from. I think.
For sure, man. And it's just funny. Well, it's not funny, but it's interesting to see just kind of what's going on in these past few weeks with, the Ferguson situation and erupting as it has. I can't help but think, man, if some of these young cats, had access to expression of any kind, but definitely instrumentally, what different, might be inspired, what thought processes might make them react or organize even, differently,
Yeah, so it's a major thing. It's a big deal. And because of, budget cuts, or I don't know politically what's going on. Well, I could speculate, but that's another conversation. But, kids aren't getting these opportunities, man.
Yeah.
It's kind of like they throw all this stuff at them, and they're not giving them any way to get out of the situation. It's just, it's nuts, man.
Yeah.
But, music, that's what it is, especially the improvisational side of music. You look at all the recordings from the 50s to the 60s, the civil rights struggle is basically documented, through music.
That's right.
Through all these great musicians. And,
that's right.
It's a side of things that, we didn't get to see, hands on, but, when we listen to those records, it's like, wow, okay. And you can feel it, man.
Yes.
You can feel what these guys are going through.
You can.
And you can feel the attitude that they felt, and the points that they were trying to make, and how those situations affected them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the beauty of music, when it's treated correctly, when it's treated right, and approached the right way. you know, a lot of attitudes and a lot of voices can be heard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in which will give a lot of different attitudes, a lot of different insights
Mm-hmm.
on various subjects.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, man. Well said. Well said. And I really, ever since I first heard you play on recording and of course live, you've embodied that street sound, that folk, black folk
Yeah.
sound, in your playing, and I've always admired that about you. And I guess, man, when you made the decision to move to New York, in the '90s,
Hmm.
kind of sort of what did you encounter? Because a lot of the cats coming up, they had by that time been in the first generation of jazz education programs, straight school system, you know
Right.
which is cool too. But kind of tell me, kind of set the scene, how you decided to make that move, and when you got there, kind of what did you find?
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm thinking it was like 95,
Mm-hmm.
96, something like one of those years. And, basically I was urged by my brothers to make the move because I just finished school. I actually had a degree in business
Mm-hmm.
administration. And, I'm sitting here with this degree and I know it's not really where my heart is. I know my heart is in music, so I'm at home, job searching, which wasn't very uplifting experience for me.
Mm-hmm.
But you do what you gotta do. You looking for the job and stuff. But my brothers said, "Man, you gotta move to New York." And what happens, probably in most cities, but you get comfortable where you are.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was in the Philadelphia, jazz scene. I wasn't. Well, everybody knew me, and I was a part of the scene, and I was working, and so I was getting comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And if what happens in life, you sit back and you stay in your comfort zone. Everyone that you're with who refuse to stay in that zone moves on, and they become who they are. And so I didn't want to, miss the boat.
Hmm.
And I was, I was kind of late in the beginning because in starting that journey, because I was listening to, my heroes, Lee Morgan and Cliff Brown, and so you have all these guys, they're in their teens when they knew that they wanted to play music.
Mm-hmm.
And could actually play their behinds off by the early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And so here I am out of school, I don't know, mid-20s already, and it's just, wow, what am I going to do?
Hmm.
So I had to work really, really hard to establish myself musically.
Mm-hmm.
Because I felt like I was behind. I was behind in terms of development, because I was in school for business and others. But when I was in school, when I realized that music was my thing, I kind of pushed the business aside while I was in school. But my dad said, "Man, you know what? You better finish this degree. This is you in your last year. What? You want to play what?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, that's cool. You like music, but you know what? You know how much money I've just put out for you to do this? And it's like, yeah, I understand. So, but really, man, I got obsessed. I practiced seriously 6 to 8 hours every day.
Wow.
I was obsessed, man. To know, there's no other word for it. I was over there. I practiced everywhere. thought, my brother, we went to school together. We driving back and forth to Maryland to Philly. I practice in the car on the road trips. I practice in the bathroom. I practice every chance that I had. And that's the essence, an aspect of playing this music that has to occur for you to take things to the next level. Personally, I didn't even answer your question yet, did I?
No, you are.
Oh yeah.
You are.
So I was moving to New York. So Warren Evans, good friend of mine. Everybody probably knows who he is. Great piano player. We decided, to make the move. My brother said, "Man, you got to move to New York if you want to do this. That's where you got to be." So okay, if you say so. So I moved in New York with Warren, and we finally got settled. We went through the stage where we're still in our comfort zone. So we come to New York a couple of days and then go to Philly for 4 days. Come back to New York for 2 days, go back to Philly for another 3 days. And, at some point we had to say, you know what, man, we got to, if we're going to do this, we got to be here, But when we moved here, it was eye-opening, man. The amount of music that was available for us at our disposal to tangibly touch, to actually see, we go, he and I, we scanned a lot. We were trying to get into all the clubs, we knew Tane and Kenny Garrett, and were playing somewhere. Like, man, we do anything we could to be there, And, we scammed. It was, we did some stuff, but, it was all in the love of the music. We had to be there to see this, and, to be in a place where, where I could see, well, Kenny and them, they were older than me, but still, I was close enough to my age where I could still be totally in awe and still be inspired to realize that, wow, that could be me, in a couple of years. I could be on that level. And, I could see them. I could go see, Cedar Walton. At that time, Clifford Jordan.
Wow.
Art Farmer. The list goes on and on. And these guys were just, they don't want to sit there. They're just doing their job, doing what they do. But for me to, for us, I'm speaking for me and Lawrence, we'd go to Bradley's and like to see all these guys that we looked up to and wanted to be like in one place.
Yeah.
Being themselves amongst each other, watching how they got along with each other, how they joked with each other, how they broke each other down, how, I used to go there and just study these guys. And at the same time I would study the music, I would always try to remember what songs they played.
Yeah.
The order, how they put the set together. When was the bossa tune coming in, or when was the ballad? Who took the first solo, who took the last. I try to incorporate, get all of that, incorporate it all into. So for me, that was really school for me.
Wow. Yeah.
Because an invaluable lesson. It's so hard to talk about because now isn't as available like it used to be. I could go out and just like, wow, man, that's
right.
That's so and so right there.
Right.
Right there, 10 steps away from me.
So would you
it's
say
crazy?
Exactly. It's interesting you raise that point. Would you say because the masters have passed on, or do you see the cats maybe your age now really scuffling for the opportunities themselves to be heard and to present themselves that maybe the youngsters in their 20s may not have that same access or may be competing for the same jobs. I guess what's your take on why some of that may have dried up?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. Primarily, I think what happened was the role of the media and the labels and how they switched from the true masters of this music that we're trying to learn. Instead of recording them and recording the real deal music, I'm trying to keep it clean.
Say what you need to say, man. Help yourself.
They tried to, they started pushing the younger musicians, and I think that kind of backed everything up, because what was happening is that the information that the younger musicians needed, that we needed, was being pushed away. In other words, it changed the flow of the information.
Okay.
So instead of us getting the information from the bottom and growing up, they kind of pushed the bottom aside and said, okay, let everybody get the information from these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm not taking anything away from these dudes, because they were all incredible and equally as inspiring. Roy and Antonio Hart and all those guys they made me the ones to play music as well.
Sure.
But, there's something to be said when you have, a 50-year-old musician who has played with Art Blakey, who has played with Art Taylor, who's been on stage with Sonny Rollins, or the list goes on. Who's like, if I'm thinking Clifford Jordan, who was in New York, and now I'm probably going to touch on something else. But,
go ahead.
Him. There was a list of these true masters in New York who all had bands. They all had their own groups. They were, everybody was working, and and what inspired the younger musicians was the opportunity to try to play in these groups.
Gotcha.
To play with Art Blakey, to play with Art Taylor, to play with Clifford Jordan, to learn on stage from true masters that, lived with capital LIVED, lived the music. And I think when the Young Lion thing came on, and they changed the flow of the information. So now the younger musicians who are coming up didn't have that will to learn from whoever it is, Rufus Reed, or whoever. There's so many of them, man.
Sure.
They didn't have the urge to learn from that caliber of musicians, and I think most of us got in our heads like, wow, okay, yeah, I love those dudes. I'm grateful for their music, but it's our time. It's my time. And so, then now you have musicians who can play their butts off, but don't really have anything to play about, because they haven't lived yet.
Wow.
Man. And they have not, they haven't been in certain situations that will bring out certain aspects of your personality, which is what the music should be about in the first place. So it's just now it's just tough, because I look back and say, wow, man, I really wish, these guys, and so I'm thinking it is still some guys out here, but it's not, you're not going to walk down the street and just see, whoever it may be, Larry Willis, like, oh, hey, Larry, look, I did see Jimmy Cobb on the subway the other day.
Nice.
Wow,
Nice.
Jimmy Cobb.
Yeah.
You know, and he looked at me like, huh? You know. You know, to say, like, man, you know who you are? You know? Same thing, I saw Harold Mayburn on the subway, and I pulled him up, I said, you're Harold Mayburn. Yeah. And I think, you know, when that happens, it does something for everybody.
That's right.
You know, I'm excited. You know, I'm excited, and I think that does some good for the older musicians as well, because it's easy, you know, when you get past a certain age, it's really easy to say, wow, you know, I had my time, I'm done. You know, everybody's listening to the younger guys, and what I did is not relevant anymore. I mean, it's easy to fall into that. I could see how it would be easy to fall into that mindset.
Right.
But, you know, if we're thinking about music, the scope, the broad scope, then we got to have, you know, we have to have the foundation, which is, you know, those seasoned pros that did it already.
Yes.
Are still doing it.
Yes.
That, you know, that touched on things that we didn't have the opportunity to deal with. I mean, that's the only way we'll learn it.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, and while, you know, they switched the game up and they changed those holding the guard is just, you know, like, wow, what are y'all doing? You know, and, you know, when you're younger, you don't think about it so much. But as I was getting older, like, wow, man, we really, and you can hear it, and I can hear it in the music. Like, we really need these guys. We need these dudes on the scene. We need them in the major clubs. We need to see them. We need to hear them. We need to be able to talk to them. We need to be able to give them compliments. We need to be able to ask them questions.
Right.
You know, but now I guess the scene is in the schools, colleges. You know, because you know the older dudes, they got to, you know, everybody got bills, and which takes away, in my eyes, from let me see how to put this. It takes away from, I wouldn't say it takes away from the concept of music, but the setting is different. You know, it's one thing to ask Larry Willis, wow, what are you playing over C-7 on that chord? What are you playing over that? It's one thing to ask him in a classroom. It is a total different thing to ask him on a bandstand when he's playing with Buster Williams and you know, it's Billy Hart or whoever it is. It's just, you know, it's a totally different thing. Yes. And you'll get so much more out of this 5 minute, five word sentence by just looking at him in that situation and in that setting. So I think it's kind of making things harder for artists to develop. Now, technically, guys are way beyond comprehension. I mean, people are playing all over their horn, flawlessly, incredible. But again, in this music that we love so much, it's about saying something, reaching people. All right, let's put it out. I think the role of music is being compromised. But basically, a lot of us are just playing instruments. They're not playing music. You know? But, you know, the role of music is, you know, to share love, healing, to trigger some kind of emotion. Hopefully it's good, you know. But that's the role of music. Trigger some kind of emotion to your listener. And hopefully it's a it's coming from a genuine and a warm place.
Yeah.
But that's our role,
Right.
you know. And if you know, the average listener, people sitting there, you play, man. You know, the average person doesn't know, has no idea what an F sharp is.
Right.
They don't know what E flat is. They don't know what A major with F in the bass. They don't know none of that.
Right.
All they you know, they're there just listening and watching what we do.
Right.
And it's our job as artists to kind of, I don't know, wipe away or that barrier that's between us, that stage, and those rows of seats.
Yes.
It's our job to get our music across to them to trigger that emotion that they need at any given time. But that's an art in itself, and the guys that know how to do that or have had years of experience doing it are not being heard or not being seen. You know, you got to search them out, and I think it's hurting the music.
Wow, man. Thanks for that, expounding on those points. Very, very relevant, man. Very, very relevant, and said as only you could say it. And naturally, you know, you mentioned several of the cats that you saw personally and were under the tutelage of. I kind of want to fast forward a little bit because you are now having an opportunity to put pen to paper, or rather sound to tape or digital as it is now, and set forth your ideas musically on something that I'm excited to hear. You've got a brand new one coming out at the top of the year. Kind of tell us a little bit about it. Tell us, you know, kind of who's on it, your conception of the project. Just kind of shed some light, man. I'm excited to share this with the listeners.
I'm excited too, man. Believe me. But it's called Things of That Particular Nature.
Okay.
And that title, people are like, wow, that's a killing title. What is it? You know, but it's a phrase, a catchphrase that my dad uses. He's been using since I was a toddler. And I've, you know, over the years, many years of hearing him use this same phrase. You know, I remember being a kid and hearing him, you know, when he's on the phone, he gives a lot of inspirational advice to people. And that was one of the phrases that he uses, like, throughout the conversation, you probably hear it 30 times. Really?
Yeah.
But, you know, as a kid hearing it, like, wow, that's, you know, when I first heard it, I said, wow, that's deep. You know, I said, man, that's so way above my comprehension, my level. Like, wow, it just seemed like it had such a meaning to me. It had, you know, it sounds like, wow, my dad is very educated. He says, you know, he's just a stern man anyway. You know, he boxed in the Army, he's a detective in Philadelphia, you know, police force, and he wasn't no joke. You know, so, I mean, when he uses that term, I know where the space that it's coming from is that, you know, listen to what I'm saying. This is very, very relevant, what I'm about to say. It's important that you understand what I'm trying to say. And it just sounded, to me, it sounded like a well-educated man, you know, being real. You know, and it touched me, you know, now, he's much older now, and, you know, we look at our parents, and we see everything that they've been through, and it's, you know, like, wow. And I, you know, now I just have to thank him, you know. Thanks, man, for, you know, being who you are, for everything you've done for me, you know. So, it was just, you know, I had the opportunity to record and to write music. So, but man, this is like, you know, a good time for me, you know, to try to to let my dad or let people know how much I appreciated my dad.
Wow.
Though I did not take full advantage of all of his knowledge, that's something I have to live with. But, you know, it's just time for me to put that out there, that emotion.
Right.
You know, so the CD is pretty much dedicated to my dad and Mulgrew Miller. Who I had a gracious opportunity to work with for a number of years, over 10 years or something like that. And basically just thanking them, or thanking the universe for putting those guys in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mulgrew, man, that dude is beyond words. Mm-hmm. Even to this day, for me, not being here physically, he's still, you know, a part of my life. Mm-hmm. I'm still moved by his music. I still talk to him. Wow. You know, so he was actually going to record with me.
Wow.
You know, which, you know, exactly. He took the words right out of my mouth.
Man.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Like, man, you're willing to... First of all, I went through that and said, why, you know, I used to go to him, like, man, why do you have me in your group, man? I don't understand this. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm thankful.
Right.
Don't fire me.
Right. Right.
But I'm trying to, you know, there's so, you know, the list of trumpet players in New York is you know, the long list. It's like, wow, why do you... And, you know, Mulgrew is a lot more spiritual than people really can fathom, you know, because he was a very laid-back man, humble and distinguished. Right. But he had a spiritual side that was just really, really deep. Mm-hmm. Really deep. I talked to his wife, China, and said, yeah, that was my cosmic, what did you say? Mulgrew was cosmic. He had another word after cosmic, I can't remember, but he was a cosmic man, and he was, you know, which was also inspirational, because I knew that he was trying to get me to think out of the box, get out of this blanket that's going on out here, and think more on a spiritual level. You know, which is something I'm working on now. That's a never-ending process, and you know, when you think that way, music can't help but to be enhanced. Right. You know, the message behind it can't help but to be enhanced. It's just because that's what the music is. Right. It's spirit. You know, that's what music is. It's spiritual.
For sure, man. For sure. And there is one master. Well, all of you guys, in my opinion, are masters and seekers of this great music. But one guy in particular on Vibes that you added for a couple of tunes. Tell us about him.
Yep. Steve Nelson, yeah, that dude. Well, he and Mulgrew had a tight relationship for a number of years. Mm-hmm. You know, and that was basically the reason for me calling him. You know, I said, "Wow, I gotta do some Mulgrew, do at least one Mulgrew tune." So I tell my wife, Alita, who has a lot to do with why all of this stuff is transpiring anyway. So I said, "Yeah, I want to do a Mulgrew Miller tune, I think." She said, "Yeah, that would be nice." Yeah. So you know, I said, "Well, the guy's not. I don't know how much Abraham played with him." But she said, "Well, if you do that, you gotta have Steve Nelson on it." Wow. And I said, "What?" I said, "Wow. Now that would be the cherry on top, to have Steve Nelson in the studio with me." So, you know, I immediately made the call, and Steve, being who he was, said, "Man, I'd be honored to do it, and, you know, don't worry about this, don't worry about that. Just come to, you know, tell me when, where, let's do it." And this dude, man, he actually he was in the hospital the day of the recording.
What?
He had some kind of surgery scheduled, and he was trying to get it changed. They wouldn't change it, couldn't change it or something. So the man had surgery and came to the studio.
Oh my.
And you know, that's something that, you know, as musicians we learn. That's exactly the point. Now, tangibly, I can see what I was trying to say about, you know, learning from the older musicians and, you know, grabbing that thing that they have, that love.
Wow.
That's what it is. I think it's love. The love that they have for the music and the importance of its presentation.
My.
You know, and the guy came out of the hospital. You know, he's loopy, and he comes into the studio and, you know, plays his behind off.
Oh my goodness.
And we, you know, we're all looking at him like, what in the world? Wow, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, how can you not be inspired by someone who, on that level of musicianship with that much dedication?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's definitely, and that's a Mulgrew Miller connection there. So the rest of the band, a friend of mine, there's a story behind this because you know, when I just go back to one of the earlier questions you asked. So I moved to New York. You know, I was coming from Philadelphia, where, you know, all there was a strong musical bond with my fellow musicians, and I was used to that. You know, I was used to, you know, talking to Mike Boone, talking to Sid Simmons, hanging out with Johnny Coles and Shirley Scott and Arthur Harper, and that was, you know, where I was trying to learn by hanging out with those people and going to hear them. But it was a tight thing, and when I moved to New York, I lost that. I didn't have, you know, those people right there who embraced me. So I was kind of lost, you know, in terms of finding a musical home.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. Somewhere where I can be myself and feel accepted, and, you know, it was just trying to, you know, meet people. And so Eric McPherson, who plays drums on the recording, he and we played together with Jason Leonard's big band.
Yes.
Every week at Smalls for years.
Wonderful group.
Yeah. So he and I, you know, became friends. And then I didn't know, I realized that he was a part of this other kind of brotherhood, camaraderie thing with Nasheed Waits and Abraham Burton. And, well, they all played with Jackie McLean. They learned from Jackie McLean and Art Taylor, well, that's where Abraham met Mark Carey, who plays piano on the recording. So if you see what I'm doing, I'm trying to keep a brotherhood kind of thing together, you know. So these guys, they had a gig. Abraham, Desmond Douglas, who plays bass on the recording, Eric McPherson, and Mark Carey was on the gig, who I've been, you know, I've known his name for years, like, wow, Betty Carter, Abby Lincoln. Right. He was playing with Roy Hargrove's band, and wow, this is a bad dude. So I said, wow, I definitely want to take that. So Abraham calls me and says, man, just come on down. I want you to play with us. I said, man, I don't know that music. He said, man, don't worry about it. Just come down there and play. Wow. You'll be fine. You know, like, man, I don't know the music. I was very apprehensive. But, you know, I said, you know what, I can fake some stuff. I can make it look like I know what I'm doing. So So I go down there, man, and immediately I felt that connection that I was missing, that I was looking for.
Wow.
You know, where I can, and their thing was so tight. It was airtight. You know, the vibes, the love that they have amongst each other from playing with each other for so many years. All I had to do, basically, the bed was made. All I really had to do was kind of lie in it and not screw up. You know, so that's basically what I did. I kind of went down there and just, you know, figured my way around the songs that they were playing. And, you know, I didn't feel great about what I did, but it felt really good. And I felt humbled that, you know, these guys allowed me to express myself with them, and they embraced me, you know. And I think that's what drew me in, and I said, wow, if I have to do something, it's got to have this kind of love, this kind of, you know, this musical atmosphere. It's just nurturing. It just feels so good. So, you know, first opportunity I had, which is this recording, so this got to be the group.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of, just another thing, another aspect for us as musicians to think about. We have to think about how well everyone gets together, how well everyone works together.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
So, and that, you know, their thing was really, really tight, and you can hear it when they play together. So, you know, it just made sense for me. I said, this is going to be my musical home here in New York.
Wow.
Who's right here. So, yeah, that was...
I dig it,
wow.
man. Things of that particular nature.
Exactly.
Most definite.
Right.
Well, man, thanks for hanging out with me and giving me your time here on JazzWatch, man. I'm really excited to see and hear this new recording, man. It sounds really warm and exciting.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having some time for me, showing me some love, you know. It's a jungle out here, man. So I don't take it lightly. I deeply appreciate it. I hope everybody can hear some of the things that I was discussing just now on the recording. Oh, one more thing before I was talking about it was just another reason why these guys that I chose to play with, because, and another reason why I think they had that kind of this feel, this warmth, this musical warmth amongst themselves, is because they learned from those true masters that we were discussing earlier. You know what I mean? Between them, Betty Carter, Art Taylor, Louis Hayes, you know, the list goes on.
Yeah.
Eric played with Andrew Hill.
That's right.
You know, there's stuff you can't take that kind of stuff for granted. And you know, and they did their homework when they were in these playing situations. Jackie McLean, you know, and again, those older musicians made sure that they passed information on to the younger guys. They passed this stuff on to Abraham and Eric and Mark and Desmond. And you can hear it when they perform. You can hear it in their music.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, is so important, man. I don't know what I can do, but it's so important for us to get rid of this space that's between the guys with the real information and these upcoming musicians. There's a gap, you know, and it needs to be fulfilled somehow. I don't know what to do, but it's definitely hurting the music, in my very humble opinion. I think that the music would be much stronger if that learning concept was in place. You know how those guys passed on the information to Eric and Abraham. You know, Eric played with Andrew Hill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's not a joke. That's not a game.
No.
This dude is writing the most incredible music. Incredible.
Yeah.
And you know, for him to be able to hang out with Andrew Hill and learn, and you know, he made sure that. That's what I think, that generation, they understood the musical process, the learning process. They understood the love that comes with playing the music. They understood how important it was to preserve the music. How important it is to keep the music strong.
Yeah.
You know, because they got it from the generation before them.
That's it.
You know, and that's how it learned. Us as a people, that's what it was. You know, they learned from the generation before, and they passed it on to the next generation. It was passed on to the next generation. And, you know, when they switched that stuff up and made the younger musicians now, quote-unquote, the spokespeople of the music, it disrupted the flow of information.
Yeah.
So the information that was supposed to be leaked to the newer up-and-coming musicians is not there. You know, so now the guys are kind of doing what they feel they have to do to be heard or to be themselves. You know, and then now it's, for me, it's coming out as a lot of ego and a lot of just, you know, look what I can do. A lot of show. You know, just to me, and no, I'm not saying it's not a place for that, because, you know, it all comes together. It's all one big ball, but, you know, where's the passion? Where's the love? You know? And more importantly, how are we going to keep it alive?
Yeah.
You know, how are we going to keep this music on a high level that we know it belongs on? You know, I mean, of course, we need help from government and all that, but on the grassroots, you know, in terms of the music itself, you know, we have to figure that out.
Most definitely. Man. Wow. Man, thanks for the information, man. Thanks for the wisdom. Thanks for the wisdom, man. Yeah, man.
Oh, thank you.
Have a good holiday, my brother, and I hope to catch up to you face to face soon, man.
Oh, for sure, man. Thanks so much, bro.
Take care.
You know, thank you for everything you do for the music, bro.
Dude, bless you, man.
Because, you know, we all in this together.
That's it, my man.
You know, eventually we'll figure that out.
I'm hoping.
Eventually.
I'm hoping so, man. Dude, wow.
Right.
Dude, right on, man. We'll catch up soon, but thanks for this
Okay.
again.
All right, man. Thanks so much, bro.
Peace, D. All right.
Talk to you, man.
Okay. Yeah, smoking new sounds from Duane Eubanks. Duane Eubanks. Make sure to keep your eyes peeled in just about a month, his brand new CD, Things of That Particular Nature. It's going to be out for you to grab. Make sure you support him. Man, this is a burning one. That's some sounds from it right there you hear in the background. Mark Carey on piano, Desiree Douglas on bass, Eric McPherson on drums, Abraham Burton on saxophone, Duane Eubanks out front on the trumpet. Thanks to Duane for talking to us. Man, that was a great conversation. I really dug hanging with him, man. He has a very, very unique perspective. You can tell he has the love and admiration for the masters, and he wants to impart that wisdom that he learned from them to subsequent generations. And man, I'm so glad he's getting a chance to give his conception of the music on this brand new CD. Congrats, Duane. Thanks again for hanging with us, man. And thank you for tuning in to JazzWatch. You know, I'm an old broadcast cat, so this podcast stuff is still new to me. So forgive a turn of a phrase, but yeah, you can download these anytime. Listen wherever you are. Just make sure that you do listen and you spread the word. How can you do that? You can join us on Twitter. You can join our Facebook page, facebook.com/JazzWatch. You can see a synopsis of each and every episode, and you can listen to each and every episode on our mother site. That's jazzwatch.wordpress.com, jazzwatch.wordpress.com. And of course, Stitcher Radio, subscribe to us for free there. And of course, at iTunes, download all of our stuff there for free. Tell your friends about us. Most importantly, please, sir, please, ma'am, leave us a review. Doesn't take that much time. Just sign in, say you dig it, you know. Tell us about maybe a suggestion or two, what we could add to it. But make sure to give us your thumbs up. We really, really appreciate your support. November was a banner month. Man, we blew it out of the water. December is shaping up to do even better than that. So we're going to keep rolling. We got some great guests coming up in these subsequent episodes. And we've got some music focuses that you're really, really going to dig. So, yeah, we're excited. We're going to keep churning them out. You keep lending us your ear, the active ear. We're on the watch for it. Make sure you hear the other music, and we'll catch you real soon. Yours truly, your friendly neighborhood jazz crusader, the Watchman, Greg Bryant, signing off for JazzWatch. We'll catch you next time.